Welcome back to Theya. I'm Joe Consorti. Today I'm here with the man who needs no introduction, Jeff Booth, the author of The Price of Tomorrow and a general partner at Ego Death Capital. Jeff, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
Absolutely. So we're here live, Washington, D.C., the Bitcoin Policy Summit 2024, second annual. What are your thoughts so far on the event?
How early we are. Yeah, the Bitcoin Policy Institute's doing an incredible job bringing this knowledge to the Hill. There are certainly some senators and congressmen that are coming and already Bitcoiners and understand the importance of this. But I would say that we're still really early in the overall where Bitcoin is.
I'd have to agree. I mean, we had three senators here, or two senators, one congressperson, and again, I can't help but think the exact same thing. For you, looking at Bitcoin in the United States today, from a policy perspective, what are we doing right and what are we doing wrong?
So Bitcoin doesn't care, right? It's imposing a free market on the world, and it's a globally distributed ledger. And assuming it stays decentralized and secure, which is inevitable at this point, it is the new base layer. You could say it's a new open, decentralized, and secure protocol bounded by energy, creating more energy abundance by its nature. That is impossible to stop. And so policy, right or wrong, I think right now the U.S. ETFs are a great thing because they bring more awareness to this space. Some of those people on ETFs are going to move and become long-term Bitcoin maxis and understand the protocol at its fundamental idea, and some politicians and some businesses will understand the same thing. It'll just be a top of funnel that brings way more people to understand. But ultimately, this is not going anywhere, and it's describing, if you measure through Bitcoin, all prices will fall forever. If you measure through a fiat currency, which is debasing, all prices will rise forever. And so each person has a choice of which lens they're looking through. And more people are starting to understand that in Bitcoin and realizing it's imposing the new rules and you don't have any choice. Now, if governments want to stop that, or they try to stop that or slow it down, what that means is the free market that's building on top of it will move elsewhere. And so now you have what is akin to a more powerful internet moving around the world, kind of one that's moving inside, now bounded by energy. And if you tried to stop that, it would be akin to North Korea stopping the internet for their own citizens. It would hurt their own citizens. It wouldn't hurt Bitcoin.
Absolutely. And from a geopolitical perspective, we've seen what happens when China bans mining. They migrate elsewhere. Yeah. So Bitcoin being this global asset, it's not so much that, if the U.S. doesn't adopt Bitcoin, it's on us. It's on Bitcoin. It's more so on us. We need Bitcoin more than Bitcoin needs the United States.
Yeah, and so each person anywhere in the world, and if you, I tend to do this for friends who don't get it yet, just take Bitcoin and price it and take it to the max and price it in each currency. And what you can see is the rate of theft in a currency. And while the U.S. currency is, the rate of theft is lower than Argentina, you can imagine there's a whole bunch of people in all of those other currencies who also believe their pieces of paper are worth something. And so you can see what's happening. Bitcoin doesn't care about any of it. It just keeps on marching across the globe, repricing everything.
Absolutely. Every single global currency, including our own, based on trust. Bitcoin isn't.
Right. It's the only thing without counterparty risk to the existing system, unless you introduce counterparty risk by trusting somebody else to hold it.
That's absolutely right. Have we ever had an asset like that before?
No, which is why it's so hard to understand. And I tend to think of it, why I don't think about it as an asset, or it could be an asset as well. I think about it as an open, decentralized protocol. And decentralized and secure protocol is because it becomes the base layer of everything that's being built on top of it. And that building on top of it is a far more efficient protocol than what we have today.
The last question I'll ask you, I know we're limited on time, and I thank you so much for being so gracious with yours, is over the next 5 to 10 years, we seem to be in this situation where the fiscal situation is deteriorating very rapidly. It's accelerating. The CBO's official projection is that we'll reach a 200% debt to GDP ratio by 2050. At our current rate, we'll get there by 2035. For the average individual, what is this going to look like over the next 5 to 10 years? And how can they insulate themselves from it maximally?
Buy Bitcoin, hold it in self-custody. And literally that is I think it's one of the only things you can do to protect yourself with what's coming. This is from my book, right? I predicted all of these things because you have the natural state of the free market is deflation. We use things that give us more value. And entrepreneurs solve those problems. And when you automate that process, we solve problems faster. And so the natural rate is faster deflation. If that was the world you lived in, prices would fall and everyone on the planet would get richer every year. So the inflation rate that you believe you're living in shouldn't be measured from zero. It should be measured from the implied deflation rate. And that's what you see. So the system is trying to offset that deflation, because if it allowed deflation, the credit-based system would explode. And that credit-based system has to exponentially, as fast as technology is moving one way, it has to offset or steal that productivity from flowing to you and concentrate it up at a faster way. If you're measuring from that system, your time, your energy, everything is being stolen at an incredible way, and it's concentrating. Inside that system, you must eventually lose your individual rights and freedoms, because there is no democracy within a system where you don't have a vote in inflation, and that becomes a majority of the government revenue.
Extremely well said. Jeff Booth, thank you for your time. Where can people find you?
Jeffbooth.ca is probably best, because any social media profiles that I'm on Nostr more than anything these days. My public key will be listed there, and if you don't find it there, it's not me.
Excellent, very good. Of course, purchase his book, The Price of Tomorrow. Of course, most of you probably already have at this stage. And again, follow him on all of his socials, and make sure you check out Theya for free on the App Store. Multi-signature, self-custody Bitcoin wallet. Don't leave your Bitcoin on these exchanges. We've seen what happens with them. The inimitable Jeff Booth. Jeff, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thanks.